Good afternoon. How is everybody? So today I'm going to attempt to paint the flesh. Let's see if I can get it in a shot here. This guy. It's a War of Spanish Succession figure from Warlord using oil paints. And just to give you an idea, I've thought about using oil paints to paint figures for a long time, but I stayed away from it because wasn't real sure I was able to do it, and the results, drying time, and everything else. Well, I've been watching a lot of other YouTube videos on it and reading up on it, so I decided, well, let's give it a shot. So I'm going to. The technique that I'm going to use to paint the flesh on this figure is not new. In fact, I will post a link to the gentleman's YouTube video that I'm borrowing the technique from. And his name is Blitz Greg Models. And again, I'll post it along with the video so you can go check his stuff out. His model making is fantastic. But to start with, give you an idea of what we're going to do. I've already base coated the figure. I primed him white, and then then base coated the flesh using Foundry's Flesh 5B, just as a base. Then I'm going to use these colors for the oils. First one is Burnt Sienna, Yellow Ochre, Raw Umber, and then a little bit of Cad Yellow. The brushes I'm using are primarily just leftover brushes that I've had before that I don't care about. We're going to see how this works. So essentially what we're going to do, get out some paint here, take a little bit of paint, get this off on here, there we go, a little bit of paint, use all three. Now the base colors for this are the Burnt Sienna, the Yellow Ochre, and the Raw Umber. That's kind of where you start with. Then you can add other colors to it depending on the shade of flesh that you want. For this one, I'm going to use the Cad Yellow. But you can use white, you can use black, you can use red. So depending on what shade of flesh you're trying to go for, you can use any of that. Let's get this on here. And what this technique does is it actually puts a lot of paint on the figure, and then what the other website kind of talked about doing is you kind of reverse dry brush it so that you put a lot of paint on, then you're going to take layers of paint off. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of that yellow to it just to give it a little different tinge. So there we go. Alright, just kind of start this off. I'm just going to start because it's a small figure. I'm just going to get it all on there and go. So get this out of my way. And here we go. So just start mixing my colors in. Hopefully all of this is on camera. Can't really see what I've got here. And get a little flesh color going here. I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow. I'm going to add some of it. There we go. All right. Now, all we're going to do, I got this all mixed. Some of the excess paint off of here. Go in and get a little bit of thinner. Thin it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so essentially all we're going to do is just kind of slap this on. Again, not too worried about getting it over anything else because I haven't painted anything else yet. And this figure is going to be my test figure for essentially for oil painting in general, just to try out this technique. Let's see if it actually works or not. So get that in there. Okay. So it's all base coated with the flesh. Now if you had, 20 of these things to do, you would do all this, you could set it aside. The oil paint will not dry quickly, so you've got lots of time to work with the paint that you have. Let me just clean my brush real quick here. Excess paint off of that. Okay, so now, like I had stated, this is kind of a reverse dry brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush, which is nice and dry, there's nothing on it, and I'm just going to, the first pass I'm going to go kind of heavy because I want to take as much off as possible, kind of like this. And I'm going to get some of that off my brush. I'll do the same thing on the hands. Again, I'm really pushing with the brush to get the paint off. Let's clean this off a little bit. And you definitely do this first before you paint the uniform, because it'll weigh it. It's all over everything. Okay, and a little bit more. And we can go essentially as heavy as we want here. And I'm going to clean the brush a little bit, get some of the excess paint off. Now this is just kind of a little quick and dirty way to paint flesh. So I cleaned the brush to get some of the excess off, Now I'm just making sure that the brush is dry because, again, I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to take another layer off. Now I'm just going to go a bit less. Brush had a little bit of mineral spirits on it still, but clean this, get it dry, take some more. Clean the brush again. The one thing that a gentleman on the other video talked about using was acetone, which I don't have. Apparently it dries the brush out a little bit faster, so you don't have to worry about the mineral spirit staying locked in the bristles. So I'm really trying to make sure that the bristles are dry before I put more on it. Okay, we're just going to go back over it again one more time, this time kind of lightly. Dry some of that off. Dry some more of this off here. Again, and each time I've done this, I've gone a little bit lighter with the color. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully it's focusing so you can actually see this. I'm going to try, let's give it one more pass. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Okay, so one more pass, real light. On each one of these. And I'm going to call that done. So again, obviously there are a lot more you can do with this. This is just kind of a quick and dirty way to do it. You can go back and start adding highlights to this. You can do everything else, but this just kind of a quick and dirty way to get some flesh color out onto the figures. Again, the tone and everything else you can change with adding, you know, black, white, red, or yellow to the base, and then change it up in various shades, so whatever you're trying to do. So again, this is just a test figure. I'm going to attempt to paint the rest of this figure using only oils, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. If you have questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them, and hope to see you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye.